Well, 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 what do we have here? A little bit of deja vu. A few years ago, I had the chance to drive a BMW M4 non-comp for a few weeks. And I must say, I really enjoyed the experience of cruising around in it and having a great time and just enjoying it. It was obviously a convertible versus this coupe right here, but still a lovely car. But today, I'm very excited to take you around and drive this BMW M4 F82 competition. What I wanted to do today was really talk about what the differences are between the two cars and whether the comp is actually worth the extra little bit of cash to get into. These are easily had sub 30k, sometimes sub 25k even as well, and that is a serious amount of car for the money. Do hit like if you enjoyed this video. Let's get straight into the car. And before I take it for a drive, I just wanted to mention one quick thing. It doesn't look too different aesthetically to the non-competition. The main giveaway is down here at the wheels, these lovely competition alloys, which I think are really, really nice. And then over here on the back as well, the black badging is normally a telltale sign of a competition. But most other parts of the looks are pretty much the same as the standard M4. Obviously, I'm driving the coupe today, therefore I've got this lovely carbon roof up here, which is pretty cool. And you can of course get the competition in convertible as well. Coupe is probably better looking, but I think I'd rather have the convertible for the way I like to drive cars. Less waffle, let's take it for a drive. Oh, it feels so good to be back in one of these. Genuinely, I think the M4 right now is one of the best value for money cars on the market, comp or non-comp, I don't care. Both of them are such lovely cars for the money, and they are true M cars. The one problem I had with the non-comp though, was that it didn't sit very well at slow speeds, which is why I've started the video so early on leaving Motorland. Thanks as always to them for letting me go out and drive the car. They let me drive some really precious metal. And I've driven this a matter of hundreds of yards, and already I'm kind of feeling that same thing. So what's the real difference then between the M4 and the M4 comp? It's not a huge amount. Ignoring the power for a second, the main thing that BMW wanted to change with this car was to make sure that it handled much better than the standard M4. So it's much more rigid and stiff to drive, because the non-comp was often criticized for not handling as well as maybe it should. It had a lot of body roll. I felt that the front end always wanted to push on the M4. Obviously it's rear wheel drive and the front end would always want to get pushed out nice and wide. So when we get some fast roads, we can test whether this thing does keep that front end in check. The other thing that I alluded to was the power. The standard one comes in at 424 brake horsepower. This comes in at more the 444 to 450 brake horsepower mark. Now I didn't feel like the non-comp was underpowered anyway. It was definitely plenty quick. So again, I'll be interested to see how much quicker this one is under throttle. Now that thing I mentioned about the non-comp feeling like it wanted to go fast when it was doing slow speeds, definitely holds true for this car. I'm stuck behind a learner at the moment, which is perfectly fine, giving them some space. But my gosh, this car does not enjoy 25 miles per hour. It literally does not want to be here. I just got out the C63, driven a C43, driven a whole bunch of like quite quick cars. Even like, think about the F-Type R and cars like that. I've driven a bunch of those and they've sat beautifully at 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, no problem at all. In this, however, despite the fact that it's got automatic start, stop and that kind of stuff, it doesn't feel happy going slowly. It just feels like it's got that race car mentality underneath it, that it just wants to go fast. It has no interest in going slowly. And also, even with traction control on and stuff, if I floor it just a touch to try and get out of a corner, just like zip out into traffic or something like that, just find a little space, the rear wheel starts spinning. Like what? All I needed to do is just hop me out into some traffic, and yeah, I don't know. It's a strange one, boys. There's a few things that I personally want out of an M car. The main thing I want really is for it to be a bit of a hooligan. And I think that the inability to drive slowly in an M car is a key part of that. So don't take my review of it driving slowly not being particularly good as a bad thing. Take it as a precursor, hopefully, to a car that is really worth the cash over the standard M4. As we get some faster roads, let's chuck it into Sport Plus, put it in manual as well, and when we find some space, let the car do what it wants to do. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. I actually love it. Sorry, I'm not saying very much. I just It does exactly what I wanted the comp to do. Yeah, it's bang on. I love what it does. Oh my God. Come on. Oh, it's exactly what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted. There you go, review finished. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys in a bit. I'm joking. So that thing I mentioned about the car not feeling great at slow speeds, as soon as you have some faster roads where you can floor it a touch more, that whole thing just completely changes. It feels how an M car should. Now, the first big difference between this and the non-comp that I felt straight away was that front end. When I pushed it in some of those corners, the front end came exactly where I needed it to. It just turned as it needed to. It wasn't like where the non-comp loves to just push itself out a little bit wide. This one here, nah, none of that. Feels so much more planted at the front end. Confidence inspiring feeling for people who like driving drivers' cars. The other big difference I found between this and the non-comp straight away, which I kind of alluded to as well, is just how aggressive the power goes to those rear wheels. It's actually amazing. The rear wheels slip up kind of at a moment's notice. You're cruising, the next thing you know, bang, the rear wheels are just spinning and spinning and spinning. And even when you get up to some speeds as well, you can feel the back twitches and gets out of your way a little bit. It's quite a pleasant, if you're a driver, it's quite a pleasant experience. Like there, rear end just kicked out a touch. Just a little bit, just to remind me that I can't be silly in this thing. It's a proper, serious driver's car. I can see why so many people put these things in walls when they come out of car shows and stuff like that, because if you don't know what you're doing in one of these, you're cooked. You're absolutely cooked. The rear steps out, it just, out it goes. Deal with it, Mr. Driver. Deal with that rear end. I'm gonna send my rear end out. Now, you use your hands to keep it in check, and I love that. That's exactly what I want. If you want something that is docile, friendly, grand touring built, etc., don't buy an M4 comp, right? If you want a car that's great for getting around the city, cruising along comfortably, etc., don't buy an M4 comp. It's not the car for you, I'm sorry, it just isn't the right thing. If you want a car that you can be a hooligan in, that you drive in Sport Plus more often than you should, that you can let the valves open up on more often than you should, that lets you enjoy a country road sensibly, that lets you get out on a track day and drive unsensibly, get yourself an M4 comp. Value for money wise, makes perfect sense. Now there is one slight but. However much fun this car is, I do prefer the Giulia Quadrifoglio. And the Giulia Quadrifoglio is coming into a similar price range. Now, the M4 comp is probably a little bit cheaper, so if you're willing to get a more ropey one, spend slightly less money, you'll be able to make sense of this and make it make sense from a value perspective. But I do think that the Giulia just had that little bit more soul, or a little bit more of an X factor to it. Things that I've not thought about yet whilst driving this, the interior. Obviously I've driven an M4 before, so I don't want to talk too much about the interior, but I do think it's nice in here. It's quite plasticky, if I'm honest. It could be a better choice of materials for an interior on an M car. It's supposed to feel a little bit more special. Maybe that helps it to get that bit cheaper. And then aesthetically on the exterior, I think these are really lovely looking cars. The only thing I'll say is that it's kind of, it's a tale of two, right? On the one hand, great looking car on the exterior, beefy, that big bulge on the bonnet, the big wheel arches and all that kind of stuff. That all adds together to make quite a nice, premium, serious experience. At the same time, it could be mistaken for your average everyday BMW. So if you want something that is super special, super different, super limited, all that kind of stuff, it might not be the car for you. And for me, that does make a difference. I like my cars to be special, different, and something that not many people have. So yeah, that would impact my buying decision. Cows. Literally every cow and his mum is right there. I've never seen them here before. Yeah, it's just crazy, right? So the rear is just, it just lights up exactly how I want an M car to light its rear. I want it to make me have to to actually be involved in the experience. And the fact that it just wiggles and squirms and I have to fight it and make sure that it comes to straight and then goes and just puts that 450 brake to good use. I love that. That's what I want out of an M car. the hooliganism, the hooligan factor that I mentioned. That's what I want out of this. And as you saw from the first time that I floored it, I was gassed. I was just having a good time. I would just get myself a comp convertible, benefit from this lovely handling that it has, and just enjoy the freedom that the convertible gives you on top, that extra feeling that it gives of being in something special. Oh, the little squirm. Oh, the brakes are ludicrously good as well. Everything about this car for me, except for when you boot it, everything else about this car is confidence inspiring. I think that's a perfect place for it to sit. It is an absolute hooligan with your right foot, and it is poised, precise, and almost perfect in every other possible way. I love it. It's actually not too powerful. Having driven, again, it's all perspective, right? I've driven some seriously powerful cars recently. It's fast, but it's all manageable because that front end is so much better than the standard M4. How reactive it is when you turn is so much better than it was on the M4. I don't know what it is, but maybe something about how BMW make these M4s feel so bad at slow speeds is what makes them feel so good when you floor it. I really couldn't tell you, but my gosh, is this car fun to drive. It's right up there with my Motorland cars that I've driven. Having driven quite a few cars from Motorland now, this one is right up there as a car that I've had the pleasure of enjoying. In terms of value for money, it's hard to beat something like this. So to summarize then, the M4 comp is exactly what I hoped it would be. It is fast, it is poised, it's a hooligan, and in terms of value for money, there aren't very many cars on the roads right now that offer this level of performance to money ratio and fun to money ratio, probably more importantly. Ah, the little wiggle. The little wiggle. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you very much. And thanks to the patrons for their support as well. If you want to see another video of me driving the C63 instead and compare my experiences of both, click on screen and I'll see you in the next one.